I think to be a professional troublemaker is to be a disruptor, to be a rebel-rouser for good things. I'm Luvvie Ajayi. I am an author, speaker, professional troublemaker, and lover of all things pop culture. Troublemakers are considered the people who can't be quiet, or who get in trouble for their mouth, or don't follow rules. Those people are actively fighting against something they don't like, or they're not comfortable with how things are. You have to be an agitator to be a trailblazer. The reason why you're a trailblazer is because nobody has done what you've done yet. For you to have the nerve to do whatever that is, some people actually probably considered it trouble. Somebody probably said, you know what? You're somebody who disrupts the room. However, that disruption changes history, it changes the world, it changes what we think is possible. So yeah, you actually have to be a troublemaker before you can become a trailblazer. Sometimes we think breakthroughs are these massive life disruptions, but I think breakthroughs can be little moments that catalyze something bigger. One of my breakthroughs would probably be in 2012 when I got credentialed to do press coverage at the Academy Awards. That was a powerful moment, but before then I was having smaller breakthroughs, like when somebody who was reading my blog sent me a note and said the reason why they weren't crying when they were in the waiting room as their mom got chemotherapy was because they were reading my blog. And we have very small moments like that that affirm our journey, but we don't give it a lot of grace and credit. The truth can cut through a lot of noise, especially in rooms where you might feel like you don't have a voice. And I feel like a lot of us who have power in rooms need to actually also tell the truth. You know, I think about people like Tarana Burke, who was like, I'm gonna actively put this pain, these painful past of mine, and put it on display and tell people about it because I want to make sure that they know that they are part of a global community of women who've gone through the same thing. My hope is that if more of us start telling the truth, we just inspire this domino effect where it's like, you know what? I'm actually walking into the room expecting that what I'm getting is honesty. I feel like pop culture literacy is important, where we understand that certain things that we're seeing are not real. Like reality TV shows, a lot of times they're not that real. They actually have writer credits now. You know, when we see people's lives on social media and we compare ourselves to them, not understanding that we're seeing the highlight reel. So you're comparing yourself to that person's highlight reel and thinking you are somebody who's less than because you're seeing them in all their glitz and glamour with the makeup on at these great events, not seeing the times they're just sitting at home behind the computer screen doing work. Start where you are. Sometimes we think because we might have maybe just 1,000 followers that we don't have platforms or people listening to us. In our everyday lives, people listen to us. Our friends, our siblings, our cousins, our parents. What are we doing with those platforms before we start thinking about what we're doing with our Instagram and Twitter and Facebook platforms? A lot of times we fight the things that we have that are gifts. I didn't call myself a writer for 9 years after I started blogging because I was so afraid of when I finally call myself a writer, it means I actually have to own this title. It means I don't have excuses anymore, and it means I could fail. When I finally started calling myself a writer, everything that I was afraid of basically got moved out the way, and I was like, oh, I can actually make a career out of this. I can make a living out of this. I can buy shoes. And it was a lesson for me that my greatest fears were never really valid. Sometimes the things that we're afraid of, that fear itself is bigger than the thing we are afraid of. When people say about like my brand became such a buzzword, I think your brand is what people are saying about you when you're not in the room. I want people, when I'm not in the room, to be like, yo, she is a truth teller. She's somebody who cares about the world. She made me laugh while she was doing it. And even though she's a side-eye sorceress, I see how thoughtful she is about everything that she does. When I talk about my brand, I really talk about me and how I want people to see me and talk about me when I'm not there.
Brought to you by Icebreakers. Break through.